Yeah, AB James asking, wasn't there a code name for a new Switch Sports Resort type game that could be ready to go next year for Switch 2? Yes.
I don't know if it was specifically a Switch Sports Resort. Yeah, I think it was just like some kind of follow-up to Switch Sports, right?
Yeah. So the
But I'm hoping
assumption,
for a Switch Sports Resort type
yeah.
game.
I mean, it makes
They don't have
sense
to
to have
call it
something.
Resort.
It would be an ideal game to have out in the first year of Switch 2, something like that, whatever
Yeah.
they call it.
Be better than a 1-2 Switch was.
And it might have somewhat explain why they decided to randomly add basketball as a DLC update for Switch Sports for this summer. It's kind of interesting to think of it in that way. It's like, hey, remember this, right? Although
Right.
I am curious though, because I wonder if there's a small possibility that the code name was just for the DLC update to Switch Sports, which could, like, the code name might just be this basketball update. I'm not saying
Very
that's
possible.
what it is, right? Like, based on, I have to double check the names exactly, but it seemed like basically some kind of actual full follow up, right? Not like just in addition to this to Switch Sports. But I'm just putting it out there as a possibility. That said, we need some kind of game like that in the first year of Switch 2. So the first year of Switch 2 is next year. Kind of makes sense. And updating Switch Sports 1 now this year to kind of maybe, remind people that might be kind of like some smart marketing there.
Right. Maybe it's not even a full new game. Maybe it's like
an enhancement with new content, a deluxe.
Yeah.
Switch Sports Deluxe.
Yeah, like maybe it has like a bunch of different sports and things and activities, and maybe it is like Switch Sports Resort, but it's built off the basis of Switch Sports. So if you own Switch Sports, it's just a DLC that you can buy, but otherwise you can buy like the full version, like in stores where there's like the Switch 2 one, right?
Maybe.
But otherwise, if you already have the Switch 1 version, you just have to upgrade to the DLC on the Switch 2. You
I'm
don't
a little
have to buy
concerned.
the whole game again.
Yeah, my thing about that is I wonder how well that would sell, right? Like, if it's only like a half.
I mean, being treated as a new game for most people is just there'd be some of the same content. So,
if you mean,
it was the same in Switch Sports Resort. There were a lot of the same modes in that game.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. Would this feel more like a Mario Kart Deluxe, or would it feel more like a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
It'd be more like Smash Bros. Ultimate, I guess.
Okay.
Essentially, I think they would they would like triple the amount of content that the game had, and like that's how much new content there would be. But then also there'd be the base content still.
I'm okay with the base content being in there as well. Right,
yeah.
But I think they need to add.
There's a whole other game's worth
it
of
needs
stuff
to be branded.
Well.
It needs to be branded as a new game.
No,
if that branded as a new game, I think you're basically telling all the people who bought Switch Sports on Switch to not really worry that much about this sequel on Switch 2. I think you need to brand it as a new game.
No, the point
so
is
everyone who bought it will want to buy this one too.
Listen. The point is it's branded as a new game for everybody who doesn't own Switch Sports. But if you own Switch Sports, you don't have to buy a game that already has Switch Sports in it. You just buy the DLC.
No.
So everybody who has Switch Sports buys this DLC.
Yeah. No.
Why no?
I don't think that's... I mean, maybe you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't agree. I just don't think that's a good idea.
Why is it not a good idea?
So, because you're then... at that point, you're telling people that it's... You might be trying to sell a lot of people on the new content, but if you're telling people it's basically just an expansion that you can pay for if you have the base game, I think it's not sending the best message in terms of, hey, here's a whole new game, buy this, right? Like, people who don't have it,
if you don't have it, then you buy the new game. If you have it, then obviously you wouldn't buy it. You would just upgrade to that version. You don't want the people who own Switch Sports to buy this game. You want them to buy a DLC, an expensive DLC for the game to make it that game. And then everybody who doesn't own it buys that game.
How much is this game going to cost?
$60.
Which would be $20 more than I think the base Switch Sports cost on Switch.
Well, then it'd be $40. I don't know. Why is that? What does that even have to do with anything?
I mean, how much does the upgrade cost?
Brother, I'm not the one in charge of making the money.
Right. I think the ones in charge are going to do like, hey, make a new game. Maybe it has some of the old content in there as a base, and it's enhanced and remastered and has new twists and turns and modes and tricks and stuff. But you're gonna buy it for $70. That's what's gonna happen. That's what I think.
Probably.
But we'll see. We'll see. Because I mean, to your point, at least, right? There's been a lot of conversation that there are going to be games that you have on Switch you can purchase like a graphics patch for, and it looks better on Switch too. But that's just like graphics and stuff. Now you're talking about getting new content, and I don't know. On the flip side, right? I've made the same argument for Smash Ultimate. Give us a Volume 3. Well,
yeah, I think that would work very well.
We pay for a graphics patch, we get Volume 3, but they also release a Smash Ultimate Deluxe version for those that want that.
Right.
So maybe I'm just biased for Smash Brothers. I don't know. I
think either way.
I think it's gonna be a sequel though. Like if we're getting anything, right? I think it's gonna be a sequel. Like if you just want me to tell you my gut feeling, I think Nintendo would prefer just to make a new game. It's not like this is it's not like Switch Sports is a big game to begin with, right?
No.
So I think it's kind of more almost like you look at Nintendo's different sports titles. You look at like the Mario Party games. We see Mario Party games every 3 years? Sooner.
Yes.
Yeah, every 3 years. I think that it makes sense because Switch Sports came out 2022, 2025. Like that's reasonable. Now, obviously, they've made this basketball stuff. They have the golf stuff. So, it is being somewhat treated like this continually evolving game, but barely.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a caveat, but maybe we'll find out. And
I think it could go either way. But I could definitely see them just being like, nah, you're gonna pay full price. I don't think it would be $70 if Switch Sports was $40. It'll probably be like $50 then. But yeah, they probably will make all
if they make a Switch Sports Resort that has completely different games, maybe that's even a better idea. Like have them feel separate, right? So you'll want to buy both.
Right. It didn't work for them with Switch Sports Resort when they did that. So I'm curious if they would try it again. Or yes, Wii Sports Resort.
Well, it did sell well. Wii Sports Resort sales were not bad.
No, they just weren't like crazy amazing.
All right, well, all right, Brandon. Do you want me to tell you what the worldwide sales for Wii Sports Resort were?
Yeah.
33.14 million.
That's decent.
That's
not crazy amazing.
It's the third best selling Wii game. I mean, that's
is the
pretty
first
good,
one just
Brandon.
Wii Sports?
The first one was Wii Sports, but it was sold with the console.
Yeah.
So it's really.
I just mean compared to Wii Sports, like you would think since everybody knew Wii Sports that like most people would buy it, but they didn't.
Everyone who bought a Wii, almost everyone who bought a Wii automatically bought Wii Sports because it was bundled with the console. Like
yeah, but it like sold the system. Like people bought the Wii for Switch Sports. It was the most popular thing. It was the biggest reason people bought the Wii.
Wii Sports. I know they're interchangeable.
Just assume I mean Wii Sports, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm talking about Wii Sports here. When I say Switch Sports sold the Wii, obviously I mean Wii Sports.
I think you have to put an asterisk on Wii Sports sales because they were bundled with Wii's. I'm not saying
my point is I think Switch Sport or fucking Wii Sports is the main reason the Wii sold so many copies.
I think it was obviously a very big reason why we did so well, but it's also hard to kind of quantify how big of a deal it was when people were also buying Wii's for a variety of other games, right? And Wii Sports just so happened to be part of the package. And I would say, like, no matter how you spin it, 33 million copies for Wii Sports Resort is really freaking good.
pretty good.
It's the third best-selling Wii game under Mario Kart Wii and Wii Sports, which again you have to put an asterisk under because it was bundled with the Wii. And I'm not saying that Wii
to be
Sports
fair,
shouldn't be
Wii
considered the
didn't have
best-selling
nearly
game.
the kind of sales for games that the Switch has. So I guess I'm not taking that into consideration.
I mean, even if you did, like the Wii Sports Resort,
because on Switch, like 33 million is pretty good, but it's not like.
It's not. Meanwhile, Switch Sports.
Why do you think I'm angry?
I don't really know. I think we're just having a combative discussion, and that's it. I don't know. Are you angry?
No.
Yeah, I think we're fine. By the way, Switch Sports has sold over 13 million copies, which is really good. Brandon,
13 million? Nah, that's not that great. If the game was actually good, it could have hit way more than copies.
I just
13 million for Switch Sports, bruh. You telling me you don't think an actually like really good Switch Sports would have sold 30 million plus?
No.
You don't think that?
No, because not that many games get. Am I? All right. How many games have hit? How many games have hit 30 million in sales on Switch?
Probably less than 10.
You're right. Less than 5.
We're also talking the follow-up to Wii Sports on Switch. Like if that had been good. Yeah, but everybody know it's like the biggest nostalgia thing for people who are growing up right now who just now have money who are buying a Switch. Like the biggest demographic for Switch are people who grew up with the Wii and Wii Sports. So obviously, if they made a great follow-up to that game, it would have sold in the tens, in the multiple tens of millions, not just what did you say, 12 to 15?
So let's also remind ourselves, Switch Sports continues to sell. It has evergreen sales, right? It didn't hit 13 million immediately. It continues to go up, and it came out April 2022, right? There aren't that many games that have come out after like Switch Sports that have outperformed it. There's just like Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom, and I guess Legends Arceus. Nope, that came out before. Like I'm looking at the list, like there's nothing else that's out that I'll have to double check how much Mario Kart Deluxe has been selling, because it continues to sell. Anyway, what are we even arguing about?
I don't know. I was about to say I'm not even sure what point I'm trying to make anymore.
I don't.
We should probably just move on.
I don't know. I think I just took issue with you trying to say that Switch Sports, that Wii Sports. Damn it!
Jesus Christ!
I think I took issue with you saying that Wii Sports was not that great of a seller.
Wii Sports Resort, you mean?
Yes, Wii Sports Resort. I think selling 33 million is pretty insane. And then I also took issue with you saying that 13 million for Switch Sports is bad. I think it's really good.
That one I agree with. Still, the 33 million. I take the Wii Sports Resort back, because I had heard people say it didn't sell that well, but I didn't actually know the numbers. Yeah. So I shouldn't have even said that because I didn't know it. I did not have the information. I'll take that one back. But I do agree. I do still think, and AB James, I feel like agrees with me because he said Ring Fit Adventure new IP sold more than Switch Sports, which is crazy.
What sold better than Switch Sports?
Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised.
Well, so I remember having arguments with people about both Ring Fit Adventure.
Well, I guess I'm not, because the quality of the two games, but when you take the IPs into account, I'm very shocked.
Well, okay, no, hold on a second, because I think this is really unfair, right? Let me explain. First off, what I wanted to say, I had arguments with people about both Ring Fit Adventure and Switch Sports. I told people that both these games would continue to sell, and they have both continued to sell. They are both evergreen titles. What that means is that they continue to sell as time goes on. And so when you have that in mind, you have to take into consideration when these games came out, because they continue to sell. Ring Fit Adventure came out October 2019. It's at 15.38 million. Switch Sports came out April 2022. There's a few years of a difference there. It's at 13.11 million. It's not that far behind, and it's a lot newer. If we go 3 years from now, where are they going to be at? I wouldn't be surprised if Switch Sports passes Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh yeah, probably. But it still probably won't hit like
And
30
by the
million
way,
lifetime unless they continue to support it.
Currently, Ring Fit Adventure is the 11th best-selling game on Switch. That's really good. Like Ring Fit, like
Yeah,
like,
but I'm just saying I would have expected Switch Sports to do really, really well. Like really,
Switch
really,
Sports
really well.
has outsold Splatoon 3.
My other point
came
is
out in the same
consider
year.
how well Switch Sports has sold, and consider how poorly it reviewed, and how much nobody gives a shit about it except playing it at their freaking parents' house once in a blue moon.
But that's what I do, and I
Yeah.
like it for what it is. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
but it could have been an actually like great game, like Switch Sports Resort. Instead it's like barely more content. In fact, in some ways, it's less content than the original Wii Sports. It's a bad game.
I just don't agree with you. But there's a few things to note here. Switch Sports on Metacritic is a 72, which is not a bad game. It's not considered a great game, but it's not a bad game, right? However, its main criticism was a lack of content. Since release, they added golf, which I really enjoy. That's what I play the most. And they're now adding basketball, which
doesn't matter because the other modes are what they need to add more to each individual mode, not add more modes.
I recognize
each mode sucks on their own, so adding more modes doesn't really help.
Hold on a second. I don't disagree that there should be more modes, right? I agree with that.
No, there should be more in the modes.
Right. Well, that's what you're defining the games as a mode. I meant like within each game there should be more to do.
Yeah.
Same difference.
We're saying the
semantics, same thing. Yeah. Or diction, whatever. Anyways, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We'll see what they do. I don't know when I don't think Nintendo, like when it comes to their sports games, they're not trying to get it to review 9 out of 10. I think 72 is a little low, right? I'll concede that. But I think the ultimate effect is that people like it and people are buying it. Because that's literally what's happening. But I do want more. Now, what I'm curious on, I want to look at the Metacritic scores for Switch Sports. Damn it, Wii Sports.
I mean, if it had reviewed as like an 85, I think it would have sold a lot better, though. Like, it didn't review very well, and it sold really well, right? On name alone. So if it was actually a pretty damn good game, I think it would have sold really, really well.
What do you think Wii Sports Resort got on Metacritic?
I don't know.
Give me a number. Give me a number.
Not justified. A non-justified number. I don't care because the game is amazing.
Just give me a
Switch
number.
Sports isn't.
Give me
70.
a number. No, 80. It serves your argument.
Ah, there we go. Okay. It's just the way you were saying it made me think that you were trying to fucking.
I mean, I have to keep you on your toes.
I'm like, maybe the Metacritic score is lower than it should be.
I love the Wii Sports Resort. It had basketball.
It deserved better than an 80.
Had sword fighting, which Switch Sports have. I missed the archery. I loved walking around the island, flying around the island. The wave racing, which I did more.
The way everything was connected was the best part. It's like you're not just in these like separate, like you really feel like you're in like one map, like all the time, because every mini game's a different location and it's very distinct, and there's like a reason for it to be there on the island at that place. Yeah, I just love that about it.
Yeah, well, hopefully, if there is a sequel, it's really freaking good, and they do add more to each sport. But regardless, the series sells well. So
yes, it does.
Yeah. Anyways,
it could sell better.
Yeah, that was a massive tangent. So moving
that was ridiculous.
Yeah. That was good though. I think we had a good discussion on that. Yeah.
Some things I conceded. There's some things I think you didn't concede, but I still feel like I won. In my mind.
Well, what would I not concede? What would you?
No, we're not going to continue this. We're not going to continue this.
I think that. Oh, okay. I'll say that. I mean, I don't know, because the thing is, like, it still sold well. So I don't know how you quantify. I think I do take some issue with, like, those kinds of games. I don't know how much review scores really matter. I guess is what the point I'm trying to make. So had it had an 80, I don't know if this is Switch Sports.
I would have bought it. I didn't buy it because it didn't review well.
Oh, maybe there's something maybe there's something to that. It still sold really well despite that, though, which is interesting.
Yes. It's like
we'll
Pokemon. I also think Pokemon could sell a lot better if the games were really high polished, though. I think they could be 30, 40 million sellers instead of 10, 20.
It's interesting because like it's how do you know, right? Like you don't know until you know. Like there are games that have such great critical acclaim and don't sell shit. Metroid Prime Remastered was the highest reviewed games of the generation. Didn't sell shit. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
but if
it's
it
totally
has
normal.
everything that Pokemon has to make it sell, the brand, the marketing, all those things that make Pokemon sell, the recognition, and it has quality, I think you have to assume that it will sell better, at least a little bit.
I think
Right?
there are just
Because there's
some
definitely
games.
people who aren't gonna buy it because they look at the game, they're like, it has everything I want, but the quality isn't there. Like me. Like there's gotta be more than it's not just me who looks at the games and goes, the quality's unacceptable. I'm not gonna buy this.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like reviews don't matter. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I think there are some series that most people already know they want it. They're not looking at reviews for it. Pokemon and the sports series come to mind.
Right.
That
But
said,
maybe there's a few more million copies that could be sold. Maybe it's 1 million. Maybe it's 5. Maybe it's 10. I don't know. But there's some amount of copies.
I don't know. I mean,
Right.
yeah, obviously,
there's some amount of copies more.
I guess. I just wonder how much it matters. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to figure out.
I'd like to think it matters because I'd like to think that most people aren't just diehard Pokemon fans who will take anything, and that's a relatively small subset of people compared to like everybody who lives, you know, but and plays games. But who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the chat. There's a lot I want to catch up on. There's still a lot more to talk about. So.